Giant Steps, My Improbable Journey from Stage Lights to Executive Heights is the book. We're here with the author and the man who lived that journey, Derek Shulman. Third part of the book gets into your new path as a record executive. In 1982, you moved to New York to become director of rock radio promotions with Polygram. Bands you worked with early on, The Jam, Tears for Fears, Scorpions, Kiss. In 1983, you moved out of radio promo and into A&R. What's the main job of an A&R guy? For those who are not familiar with, you hear that term a lot.
Well,
A&R guy.
A&R doesn't mean anything to what it did when I was doing it. Uh, um, Artist and repertoire is what it actually means. And you are the person that decides or finds the artist that the record company will put their marketing resources, their promotional resources, their sales resources, etc., behind their recordings. And that's who you were. You were the guy that finds the talent for the record label. That's what it was back in the day, and that's what I became. And I realized that was something that I was pretty good at, and but good in the fact that I could bring a lot of my background, all of my background, to this new situation, which I had never in a million years thought I would be in, to be
Well,
honest.
yeah, and I don't think any of your peers expected it, right?
Absolutely not. I mean, it was almost like Luke Skywalker turning into Darth Vader.
Yes. Right. Because now you got to look for bands. You're looking for hit songs, hit
Yeah,
bands, the look, the sound. Yeah.
yeah. And I did know about having hits because we had a couple of hits with my first band. But yes, I had to think about commercial success um, as well as I'll use this word, authenticity.
Right.
And every band that I signed and I was involved with, and I'll say this, I'll say it out loud because it's important that people think, oh, Derek, he was in this great prog band and he sold out. No, no, I sold. I looked for anyone, no matter who it was, to be authentic and to do something that no one else is doing, whether it's pop or rock or 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 progressive music or country or hip hop or whatever. They were, authentic is the most important thing for me. And just about every band I worked with were authentic in their own way.
Yeah. One of the early bands, Bon Jovi. 2 weeks into your gig, you hear a song on a Long Island radio station that you couldn't get out of your head, and it was called Runaway by a kid from Saraville, New Jersey. It wasn't a band yet. It was just Jon Bon Jovi. Share with us some of the story of signing Bon Jovi.
Well, I heard this song "Runaway" on the radio, and I thought, "Damn, what a great song!" It was a song that John uh, was able to get on the sampler of music, local music in New York, um, and it was called Johnny Bon Jovi. But I kept hearing this on this radio station, WAPP, and I just, wow, what is this song? And when it came on, I just did just some inquiries, and I heard from that he was represented by a lawyer in Philadelphia, a guy called Arthur Mann. I got in touch with him, and he said, "Yeah, there's this kid. He's working at the power station for his second cousin Tony Bon Jovi, and he recorded this song with some session guys. Do you want to hear more? I got a demo of his stuff." And I said, "I'd love to hear it." And he brought the demo, and uh, they were really good songs. And I thought, who the hell is? So I said, "I'd love to meet John." And he came over to my office, and literally when he came in, every girl's head turned around.
Right, I'm sure.
I mean, this is like this guy is like he was so good looking. His hair was like flowing, and boy, the girls were like wet. I'll just leave it to your imagination.
Yes. Now, what was on that demo, by the way? Were it songs from that first album like Roulette and
Um,
uh,
it was songs from that first album.
She Don't Know Me? I think is on that original too.
You
Yeah.
don't know. Yep, yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Roulette. Yep.
Okay.
And so when I sat down with him, I said, "John, I saw this," and we got talking about what it was, who I was, and why I was doing. We were sitting together, and I said, "So what is it? Who is it you want to be?" Because John, it could be he's so good looking, and he could be a pop star or a rock star or something. I said, "What is it, and who is it you want to be?" And he looked me in the eye and said, "I want to be bigger than Elvis." And when he said that, you could take it two ways or three ways. I'm being punked, he's just saying it because that's what he had to say because he's been sitting with this guy. But no, this came. I could tell that this was something in his head that no one was going to stop him if he was given a chance, and I believed him, and he was putting this band together, and I saw a couple of shows. Richie joined the band, and he had a couple of other guys from Jersey, and he did
Tico, yeah, Tico,
Alec
Alec.
and
Okay,
Dave Bryan, Dave Rashbell at the time,
okay,
and
okay.
they did a couple of showcases, and I said to my boss, I'm going to sign him because I knew that the potential was there. They weren't amazing when they started, but and they had all the elements that I knew that it would take to make it work. I introduced them to Doc McGee, and we recorded the first album at the Power Station.
Did you see a chemistry between John and Richie?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. That was when he got Richie. That was every band in the rock genre. There's always you have to have there's a Joe Perry and Steven Tyler. There's Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, Jon Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora. That was perfect. His choice of Richie being in the band and their choice was perfect, and it was so good together. Well, the whole band was so good.
I know everybody loves Slippery When Wet, which I do too, but I say it all the time. New Jersey is right at the top. My favorite Bon Jovi album. It's the songs that are not just the singles, it's the album tracks that are so good.
And so that was New Jersey was I mean that sort of Slippery was the third album, and I introduced him to Desmond Child.
Okay.
And I said, John, how about writing with someone else? Had it been me saying that to me in another band, I would have said go to hell. But John was very pragmatic. He said, look, if it works, it works, and it obviously worked. And we went to Vancouver with to to do the album with Bruce Fairbairn, Bob Rock, and Mike Fraser. And Slippery When Wet was recorded. We put the record out, and it was gigantic.
Desmond wrote You Give Love a Bad Name,
Living on a Prayer.
Living on a Prayer, which I remember John Bon Jovi saying, Living on a Prayer. I don't think that's going to be a hit.
Oh no, no, that's not true.
He didn't say that because I thought it was a quote that he said, and he's like, boy, was I wrong?
No, that's history being rewritten in a different fashion. However, he did tell me that when he wrote I was listening to the demos. He said this song I think will be a classic. Not a Living on a Prayer. Is One to Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
I've got this song, and I'm sure it's going to be this will be our classic. And he's not wrong.
Oh no, that is a classic. Now you said John was never arrogant, but he knew how to play hardball. You found this out when he asked for a separate deal. He wanted a separate deal, not a band contract.
That surprised me actually. Because it was a band. I mean, he was putting his band together, and when I put our band together, we shared everything. But he was smart. I mean, he was a leader, and when I thought about it, it was him putting the band together. He did run away, with other players, and so in certain respects, I was surprised that a band is a band for me. But it was John's band, but it was a band still. And so the other guys got different kinds of deals. But that when he said that, it was like, huh, well, are you sure that's going to work, John? He said, look, that's what I want. And you know what? I went along with him.